Welcome to Electronic Arts. Electronic Arts, Inc. is a leading global interactive entertainment software company that delivers games through different devices and experiences. One of the most beloved PC franchises, The Sims, has been in production at EA for over 18 years. The Sims has been entertaining millions of people across the globe and garnering recognition as one of the best-selling PC games of all time. Come join us on a glimpse of game development on The Sims 4. Laura Miele, Electronic Arts Chief Studio Officer. Laura Miele is Electronic Arts Chief Studio Officer. Miele is an influential veteran in the game industry who has been at EA for over 22 years. She is passionate about games and has led publishing, marketing, and analytic roles in franchises such as Star Wars and Battlefield, to name a few. Lindsay Pearson is the executive producer on The Sims 4 at Electronic Arts. She is passionate about games and The Sims. She has been working for The Sims for more than a decade. What does a producer do, you ask? They take the overall design vision and work with all disciplines to make it come to life. During the execution, producers make sure the game is fun and maintain the quality, gameplay, and players' desire. The Sims is a life simulation game that gives the player the tools to create and control Sims in-game. Players can create unique Sims, build their homes, discover beautiful worlds, and play with your Sims life. This gives players the opportunity to be creative, express themselves, and tell their stories. Play with life. Designing for The Sims. Here at Maxis, game designers transform ideas and concepts into interactive experiences for players to enjoy. For The Sims, this means distilling our daily and exciting human lives into a set of rules, behaviors, and achievements. How do we turn the complexity of life into a fun game while providing behind-the-scenes systems that reflect the reality of the world? Designers think about how players can poke at these virtual beings through a few stages, including research, ideation, prototyping, and iteration. Research. How has a new feature like vampires been represented before? To better understand players' perception of something, designers engage with popular media like books, movies, and TV shows. They also investigate existing video and board games to understand how their rules and mechanics drive player behavior. Ideation. The power of a design team lies in exploratory collaboration, with everyone bringing their best ideas from their unique viewpoints. Here, a brainstorm session generates ideas for vampire powers, and designers give feedback on the benefits and risks of individual powers. Prototyping. Turning ideas into a playable game is a big leap, and a stepping stone in the middle, a prototype, can prove invaluable. This early prototype allowed for the evaluation of a social system under consideration without requiring other game systems to be functional. Iteration. Nothing comes out perfectly at first. How powerful should our vampires be? How many resources should a power take? Using tools to be able to update behaviors and tweak numbers can be vital to making the game fun to play. Art for The Sims. In this room, you see the tools artists use to create assets from start to finish. And there are many steps an asset in a game goes through before a player can experience it. Many 3D assets for games have more restrictions than the visual effects in movies and TV. Models made for The Sims must be built efficiently as well as stay visually consistent with other models, Sims, and VFX in-game. In the example here, a market stand has been requested by designers and producers to add unique gameplay in a new type of lot. Brainstorming and reference. General reference related to an asset is collected, then many ideas are written down and discussed among artists, although they may also do loose sketches. Assets are put together into room view sketches to show what an area might look like. The pieces that are the best fit are discussed with art direction before work on final concept art begins. Concept art. Concept artists visualize what elements will be important to a 3D model in 2D. Traditional tools are still sometimes used, but final concept art is done in 2D software. Color theory, materials, and understanding function are important to create compelling concept art that translates easily into 3D. Creating the 3D model. 3D modelers use information from animators, engineers, and concept art to create a 3D template for a model for prototyping, then create a final model to go in-game. The textures are created in 2D in a separate program, then applied on the object like wrapping paper. It's in the game. In addition to creating 3D models, environment artists use software made for The Sims to create the world. They set up all houses and parks you see when playing the game. The ground is sculpted, and then individual assets are placed, including lights and visual effect emitters. Making Sims move. Once designs have been written and 3D models have been built, it's the animation team's turn to bring it all to life through the digital art of motion. From architecting movement flow reflecting design's vision, to acting out zany reference videos, animators are responsible for every step in the process to create believable, entertaining, and often dramatic physical performances of our lovable Sims. Here you can see the entire process creating animation for GP04 Vampires, a vampire power to mesmerize, translating design into motion. All animation for The Sims starts with a conversation between designers, which then gets translated into an animation flow plan, also known as an animation state machine. In this image, a designer is describing wanting a vampire to have a special power to fully take control of a Sim, leaving the poor Sim in a looping mesmerized state for up to 8 Sim hours. An animator then translates this request into what animations will be needed to make this possible. In order to have animation play for a variable amount of time, the animation needs to be made up of a short loop, which can be broken out of at any point the designer wishes. This is what a looping animation structure for Mesmerize looks like. It consists of a start, a looping animation, and a stop. The bookends of this come from and go to our default standing pose, allowing the Sim to return to doing normal actions within the game. Planning animation using reference video. Animators shoot reference as the first step in translating their ideas into movement. This allows the animator to capture the visual blueprint for acting in a quick and cheap format. It can be reshot quickly per the director's feedback to hone in on an idea prior to beginning to animate. If an animator were to take the time to animate the idea without reference, it could cause unnecessary rework. In this example, animators are defining the acting choices for our vampire and the mesmerized Sim. Process of animation. Animators working on the Sims use the pose-to-pose method to block out full-body key poses, defining acting landmarks for where the animation is headed. This method allows the director to provide feedback on timing, weight, and visual interest from the very beginning of the animation. Once blocking poses and timing are approved, the animator begins to break down the motion by defining arcs and weight, and finally polishing the animation by adding facial animation and finger detail. Testing animation in-game. An animator's job is not done once an animation is final. They still need to test that their animations and the flow they've set up works properly in the game. Animators on The Sims test every animation clip one by one, looking for technical problems such as this. In this image, our animator is debugging why their Sim appears shrunken in the game. In this rare case, an animator has accidentally connected their adult Sim vampire animation to a child Sim animation skeleton, easily fixed by going back to the animation state machine and correcting the connections. Making the Sims speak. In a simulated game where the player has total control, the player strives to make a life for their Sims. What the Sims do and say is critical to the player's experience and storytelling abilities. The Sims use a made-up language, Simlish, to create an assortment of conversation for the players to interpret. The Sims' voices need to be believable without having specific meaning behind their words. Acting with emotion and humor are the process by which the audio team achieves this. Director's chair. The voice director prepares for each animation the actors will perform against by assessing: what is the intention behind the animation? What emotion or emotions would be meaningful? How can Simlish add value and/or humor where appropriate? During the session, the voice director sits here and guides the actors to give a great performance. Engineer station. After setting up the microphones and recording software, the engineer works the session from here. They listen and adjust the equipment for audio levels and frequency balances to best capture the voice acting. Actors. Actors are chosen for their voice qualities, emotional performance range, and improvisational skills. Simlish is comprised of partially defined words and improvised syllables to create emotional meaning. The actors perform to the animation renders on a big screen, while the voice director talks to them through the headphones. Synthesizers and effects. Musical instruments, synthesizers, and special effects can add character and personality to one's normal voice, transforming it into otherworldly characters like ghosts, vampires, aliens, and the Grim Reaper. Pitch changing, time delay, and modulation are the basic effects. Building behavior for The Sims. Our game's inspiration is life itself. Sims are unique individuals that interact with the world to generate experiences. Sims gather and socialize with each other based on their personalities, cultural backgrounds, and even their current emotions. Over long periods of time, these interactions develop permanent relationships. Once a Sim starts a family, they become part of a large network of ancestry. Gameplay engineering combines art and design with programming to create fun-filled yet believable player experiences. This group of developers is iterating on working features that originated from the whiteboard brainstorms. Socialization. Sims are social beings. They go to school, have jobs, exercise, and of course, party. Sims enjoy the company of their friends at gatherings, prank coworkers, share stories, discuss similar interests, can be mean to each other, and sometimes wish to simply stay alone at home. All this behavior is created with engineering. Social positioning. When Sims socialize, they must position themselves appropriately. Non-touching socials require Sims to be nearby and visible for socials like chatting, while touching socials require reserved space for socials like hugging and kissing. And some socials may even center around an object, like a chess table. Sims can multitask and socialize while cooking or watching TV, and even prefer to be near Sims with positive relationships. Relationships. Sims build long-term relationships with every Sim and object they interact with. With other Sims, it can manifest as friendship or romance. With inanimate objects, it can be their favorite toy or a comforting family memorabilia. Sims interact differently with a long-lost friend, an ex-boyfriend, a best friend forever, or a romantic interest, which can drive them into new types of relationships. Building ancestry. Engineers build simple representations called data structures to solve real-world problems. By recording each Sim's parents, grandparents, and spouse, the game can generate complex family trees. Designers can use these structures to build socials that only show up between an uncle and a nephew, or a husband and wife. Bringing The Sims to our players. As development nears completion, it's marketing's job to get players excited about the game and want to purchase it. Marketing helps players understand what's unique about the game, sets its price, organizes its promotion, and works with various retail stores to sell it. To help make these decisions, it's important for marketing to understand who their players are and what they want in the game experience. Creating marketing materials. Every game needs unique artwork to help sell it at a store or online, accompanied by engaging sales copy, videos, and images. These materials are some of the most important resources that marketing leverages to promote the game. Promoting the game. Promotion generates awareness that the game is available for purchase. Common methods of promotion include advertisements, press interviews, and even YouTube live streams, where the developers demonstrate the game and answer questions directly from players. Tracking performance. As soon as it's released, marketing reviews the game's sales performance and feedback from players. They use this information to see how they are tracking to their sales goal and to refine their marketing approach going forward.